There's a lot of noise right now about AI specifically, of course. It's going to replace you. It's going to make you redundant, right? The oligarchs, the rich, the money people, big tech is sucking out your skills, sucking out your creativity, your ideas, and feeding it all, just pumping it into the machine. And eventually it's going to make you obsolete, right? Your job is going away, job losses. This is the current narrative, right? All this fear mongering, which again is not new. We're all aware of this fear mongering that happens throughout history and in many cases. And today the fear mongering is happening with AI. Now, that's one narrative. And I'm challenging this narrative, not with a counter argument per se, but more with a truth, a deep truth that is known and has been known for thousands of years, right? And this truth is more relevant today than ever before. And so maybe let me just get straight to the point. And that is, if you are afraid of AI, there is only one reason. The reason is you do not yet know who you are, or you do not yet know what you actually are, right? Not your job title, not your degree from university, not your achievements, not what your LinkedIn kind of brand says, not your grades, your salary, the house you live in, the car you drive, what your parents think of you, what your kids think of you. None of that, none of your fears, none of your limiting beliefs that are telling you who you are, that is not you. What you are beneath all of these surface layer stuff is an expression of the divine. Let that sink in. You are an expression of the divine. Unique, unrepeatable, an infinite channel through which the universe expresses itself in a particular form, in your particular form, in this lifetime. And this cannot be replicated. This cannot be aggregated. This cannot be stored in any database, however vast the database may be, right? So what I like to look at is like, just think that all of this creativity that can flow through you is coming from the universe through you, and the universe is immeasurable, immeasurably vast. So imagine what can actually flow through you. And then like go upon this. There are 9 billion people on the planet. Each one of them, if they could tap into that universal storehouse and express their unique expression of the divine. You came for a very specific reason in this lifetime to express something of the universe. I came for a very specific reason. Your neighbor, your brother, your sister, they all came for very different reasons. But each one of us carries this infinite creative potential within us, right? Thoughts, feelings, gifts, insights, unique ways of loving the world that only you can do, only I can be. And, I think that 9 billion humans with all these unique expressions, there is no way any compute size in the world can contain it. Not even close. You're trying to put the universe inside metal containers. Not going to happen. There's no lines of code that's going to contain that. So, actually, coming back to my point earlier, the AI fear, the fear is actually not about AI. The fear is, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you are. That's the actual fear. But when you're deeply connected to source, this is what I'm learning, when you know what you are here to express, and you're living from that place of soul level clarity, AI or no AI, it becomes irrelevant. It becomes irrelevant to your sense of self-worth, to the sense of who you are. So Let AI take an idea. Let the oligarchs take a skill. It's okay. There's infinite expressions coming through you. So, one idea gets taken, there's 10 more emerging. Haven't you? Just consider how many ideas flow through your head, right? If one thing doesn't work, you find another way to do it. But the thing is, because we are disconnected from source, um, then our sense of value is entirely built on cerebral intelligence, book knowledge, professional skills, degrees, whatever it may be. And that is the cause of fear. Because yes, those things are replaceable and are becoming increasingly replaceable. So now you're like, what am I going to do? But one thing that cannot be replaced is the divine. You cannot replace divine source that flows through you. And the ancients knew this, the rishis knew this. They tapped into this, I don't know, I would like to say eons ago, but in many, many lifetimes ago. And that the Atman, the soul, right, is identical to the universe, to the source of whence it comes from. It's everywhere. It's, as the Isha Upanishad, I think it says this, it's everywhere, it's bright, it's indivisible, and it's untouched. Jesus echoed the same. The kingdom of God is within you. Where is this kingdom? Like the disciples asking, where is this kingdom? He's like, it's everywhere. You can't, it's like the wind. The Holy Spirit, you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And he said, the Spirit is like the wind. Can you contain the wind? How much of wind can you contain? Can you contain all of it? You can't, right? So one thing I just want to say here is that what they were all pointing to is that you cannot be made redundant, right? You cannot be made redundant, not by any machine, not by any system, not by any economic force or technological disruption, right? Because you are not a skill, you're not a function, you're not a role. You are the divine expression itself coming through you, me, in a way that's never happened before and never will again, right? Let that sink in. There's never going to be another you, there's never going to be another me. And this entire kind of, I guess, view, perception has shifted my, well, early on, but even more now, I've become more convinced. It shifted my entire perception of AI, right? I'm not scared of AI. In fact, I actually see AI as this beautiful gift. It's a gift from the universe. It's the most, I look at AI as like this mirror. It's a mirror that all of humanity, we're collectively looking at this mirror that we're holding up to ourselves, and it's reflecting back to us and saying, my friend, you're not just cerebral intelligence, so it's time to find out what you really are, who you really are. And this is the question the mystics have asked for centuries. This is the question that's always led to the deepest liberation. The person, human, who finds themselves and finds God, nothing shakes them, right? Look at all the scriptures. They are replete with this truth. And I was thinking about this the other day. Like, there have been previous disruptions. Maybe there's an earthquake here. There's wars going on. If I'm not wrong, there's about 58 wars or something that's going on simultaneously around the world. There are wildfires, floods, all these kind of things. The difference has been, and I'll speak for myself, I've never been in a war-torn region. I've experienced some light tremor of an earthquake once or twice. I've never been in a fire. I've never known poverty, like for myself. So these things are distant from me. They may be likely distant from you, and you feel sad, you grieve, but it's not touching your life, right? This is where AI is different. AI is touching all of us. So all of us are in the connected world, right? Whether you are a CEO, what your wealth is, what your status is, what your race is, what your profession is. If you're a CEO or you're a graduate, an intern, if you're a creative or an analyst, if you're a teacher or a technologist, it's touching you, right? So this is why this moment is so significant. It touches all of us. We can't escape it. It's kind of like COVID, I would say. And I just feel this is it's not a crisis, it's an invitation. It's an invitation from God. Guys, find out, people, get back to who I really created you to be, right? And one of my master coaches, a few years ago, and that time COVID came out, and I was doing my coaching training during that COVID season, and he said this beautiful thing. He said, COVID is a kick in the pants to humanity from the universe. He called it a universal kick in the pants, and he said, throughout history, the universe brings these kick in pants moments, right? I think I think AI is a kick in our pants, right? Guys, get back. Stop outsourcing your sense of worth and know what you really can produce. Begin that inward journey to yourself and touch who you really are, the full magnitude of your capabilities, right? And, yes, I also want to touch this point, and that is the fear is real, right? Because what actually concerns us. We have mortgage to be paid, kids to feed, a lifestyle that we've gotten used to kind of maintain, and that fear is real. And I would say actually that fear is coming from a place of love, because we love our children, we love our lives, we love being well fed, well clothed, those kind of things. So and you want to be responsible in this sense, right? You don't want to just. So I'm asking, don't dismiss it. I'm saying inviting us to go deeper, look under the hood, right? Embrace it, welcome it, rather than saying, "Oh my God, AI, I'm so scared," blah blah blah. Is to say, what is the divine teaching me? What is this season, this moment that I'm living through? You could have been born before any of this AI stuff came back. You could have been born. You could be born generations after AI has come, and I don't know what it's going to become. But you're born in this moment. So what is this situation teaching you? What's the lesson for you, right? Lean into that question. And um, what I'm saying is that we are assuming that our sustenance is coming from our skills and our knowledge and our professional value. And if this gets taken away, we are no longer relevant, right? I'm saying that what if that assumption itself is the real problem, right? So what I've come to understand, in my limited time on this planet so far, is that sustenance, and the ancients have taught us this, right? Sustenance flows from source. When you're connected to the divine and when you are expressing what you're genuinely here to express, the creativity is endless, unstoppable, infinite. And from that creativity flows contribution, that you cannot help but be of service and contribute. And then from contribution flows abundance, connections, deep relationships, meaning, purpose. Not in excess, not in greed, just the sense of enough. And it's the kind of enough that makes you feel full, like content, not fearful, right? Think about Bach, right? The great composer Bach. He wrote under every piece that he created, that came through him, music piece. He always had this thing at the bottom of the manuscript that was SDG, Soli Deo Gloria, which means only to God be the glory of this work that I'm doing. So he understood that this is not me creating it, it's coming through me, and many musicians are like this, right? Artists, etc. But when you give that and you're doing it for God, see where his life went, and look at the we listen to his music still today. He lived a modest life, but he was, I guess he was fairly wealthy, but he didn't run dry. He was able to sustain. Or think about Viktor Frankl, right? Who went into the concentration camp, and then he came kind of to the end of himself, and he understood one thing, and he's like, the only thing that cannot be removed is the freedom to choose how you respond, how I respond. Gandhi also understood this. So what is your choice? Fear or connection with the divine, to allow the divine to flow through you, and from there comes the confidence of where to go. And of course, Viktor Frankl went on to develop logotherapy, which became a fantastic modality of dealing, how to choose in situations. Sold books, courses, etc. And the thing is, neither of them were looking for, I need to make a ton of money out of this, right? They were just looking for they understood what was flowing through them, allowed it to express. And I think this is the world we're walking into, right? So the more of us that touch into this, that connect to source, that establish this way of living, it's going to be a new way of living. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about some fantastical or fantasy way of living. I'm talking about cause and effect. Very simple. You connect to source, source flows through you, you deliver, and let the results be what they are, right? So, but the beauty of connecting to source is that the creativity is inexhaustible. Like I said at the start, we never run out of ideas. We never run out of the ability to go through. So, AI can replicate a skill, um, but it cannot replicate the infinite living wellspring of divine expression. That it cannot replicate, right? Your soul level contribution that comes through that expression. And from there, the provision that you need will emerge. Maybe not in the way that you expected or the form that you expected, maybe not at the timing that you expected or the timeline that you demand, but it will come because the universe is no man's debtor. There's a verse in the Bible that says, God is no man's debtor, right? So when you work for him, that's going to be a different way of living. So there is actually only one response in such a moment with this whole AI season that we're in, this fear, disruption, whatever you want to call it. There's only been one response, and that's going to continue to be the only response. And that is come back to the divine, return to the divine within you, right? That is the one of the version of you that existed before all of these things were layered upon you, right? Your role, your title, your degree, all those kind of things, the kind of lifestyle and your concepts and all of that. Your soul. Come back to that, right? Um, and because your soul is going to continue in the next cycles after this. And the path is not complicated, right? It doesn't require you to go to 50 retreats. It doesn't require you to go to a far off land. You can choose to if you want to. That's fine. But you just need silence and humility. The humility to say, okay, I'm wrong. And just the willingness to look within, right? And the fruit of this journey, as I've experienced it, is three things: clarity, alignment, and service, right? So clarity in the sense of this is peaceful knowing what I am and what I'm here for. And from there, an alignment to just be open to what the universe is drawing through you and allowing it to be, like one of the guys taught me this, like to be a hollow bone, just a channel for the universe to come through. And then more you do that, the more aligned you feel. And from there, it's inevitable that service is going to come through, right? Service in terms of something that's just this unmistakable, unbeatable feeling of contributing something so wholesome, so rich, and supportive to the world, to humanity, to those around you. And returning to the root of ourselves. You know, Rumi wrote this beautiful poem, the poet Rumi wrote this beautiful poem about drawing close to the root of yourself. And if there's an exercise you want to do, you know, just take 5 minutes, sit quietly, take a few breaths, and just ask this one question: what am I? What am I here for? What am I here for? What am I? Don't answer it. Just keep asking that question, right? And then just sit in silence. See what emerges. If you're interested, I actually recorded a reading of this poem. I don't know, some time ago, maybe last year, I guess. So I'll put the link in this video, and you can find it. It's just a reading of the poem itself, and if that helps with your, I don't know, contemplative, meditative moment of asking that question, I hope it helps, right? And you know, poems do what poems do the best. They bypass the mind, right? And poetry is really the language of the soul that kind of gets into our artistic side and opens up this channel which is otherwise kind of blocked. So in conclusion, what I want to say is there's nothing really to be scared of, right? There's the direction in which to lean into, the direction of going inward and reconnecting with the divine. And it's not a crisis. It's a moment of invitation, right? To stop looking for our worth to outside things that are external to us, and begin to reconnect with our true worth inside, the divine expression of who we are here to be, what we are here to do, and to allow that to flow through us, because that's infinite, that's vast, that's bright, it's joyful, it's full of light, it's okay, there is hard work involved, of course, but there's a joy in that kind of work, right? Um, One of the things that I'm really feeling called to is this whole thing of having a monthly group, having people together, and I'm calling it Soul Dawn, a doorway to your inner cosmos, right? So all many of us may be asking these questions, but how do we navigate this together? And the first part of the series, what I really want to focus on is a series called Transcending AI, reclaiming and embodying the fullness of your humanity, of my humanity, of our humanity. um, what can you expect in those gatherings? Maybe some meditations, some guided meditations, some teaching that kind of awakens something within you, and just discussion amongst, as we walk this journey together. We're all going through it together. So why try to fight this battle alone? Why try to ask these questions in solitude? Why not ask them together as a group and learn from each other and grow together? So if that's something that interests you, I will be putting the event links out shortly. Um, Plus, or if you're really interested, you can write to me. I've put my, you can find a link tree, the way you can reach out to me and connect with me. And yeah, I would really love to work with people through this and to walk this journey together. And what else? Yeah. So as I always say, your soul is waiting. It's your move. Namaste. Be well.